All right, well, peace, peace, peace. First and foremost, hopefully the Most High house is blessing your day. By His mercies you aren't consumed. We're alive in the Most High house that's body, and two are naturally alive, man. And yeah, man, I want to get into this, man. How important, the witness is in, how to witness the gospel, the testimony, like the new covenant. All that's important, man. Just looking at the Most High house environment of the book, because we gonna kind of touch on a little bit things here. I didn't realize this till now, man, because actually on the morning prayers today, it was Deuteronomy 28, and also too in the Bible app I'm in, the verse of the day was in 1 Corinthians 11. We're gonna go in 1 Corinthians 11, but we kind of go into like how I was talking about this like with my homie the other day, how the whole gender war talk is it's kind of circular. Now, do we hear both address both sides a lot of times too, that's why we talk about how brothers whether we in the word or outside the word. This is our nation period, but how much more in the Lord need to gird up our loins and be men. We gotta actually be men. Honestly, like the Most High House I commanded us to be honorable and faithful, just man, he that ruleth over men must be just. Like not even you only have to rule over other people, rule over yourself. You have to be faithful, like honorable, integrity, like the wire says a man must have a code. So we talk about that, honestly, because I honestly that's what honestly the bulk of it is, because the man is the head, which we actually we're about to go into. But also too, we also talk about our sisters, man, and how because what, how rebellious, defiant, self-willed, that we talk about that as well. This even spiritually, not even just physically, this more of this behavior and the mentality and things of that nature. Both of which come, because like the brother sent me first one said, like I told my homie the other day, man, it's kind of circular talk, because when we're both not serving the Most High house, child, just as collectively, man. So we both be not being obedient, man, to them, man, both of us, man. But honestly though, man, but how really honestly that is, because a lot of times too, the reason why we see things with these dynamics, because it's not following the godly order, the Most High house has order, man. But but that's kind of, because it kind of ties into what we going to talk about. But honestly, man, too, I just on the natural side of things. But honestly, the most when we talk about shout out to brother send me firstborn too, and probably other brothers as well, man. But that's why the Most High house comes in volume of the book, the witness, the testimony, the gospel, the new covenant, man. Because honestly, when you read Deuteronomy 28, man, once you actually start thinking about, man, those are blessings and curses, all talking about the Most High house, man. Yes, it's the curses, stuff like that, talking about us, yes, as well. But it's also too the curses that would befall Yahushua, man, because he comes to one volume of the book, and we kind of talked about that, last week, I think, or a while back, how blindness and how stricken with madness, and how the ones that didn't believe and how shall we stricken with madness or blindness and things of that nature, or how all those curses, stuff like that, fell on him as well, even us as a, now of course, is all those curses for our people, yes, exactly. But those are things that's why know how day comes in volume of the book, and the witness and testimony is very important, man. Like the brother Akawar perfectly said, man. I'm always gonna say this, man. Since he said it, man, you gotta read it through the Most High house's perspective, the book, because it's about them. But honestly, even in Deuteronomy 20, let's get Deuteronomy 28 real quick, man. Because Deuteronomy 20, even in Deuteronomy 28 and 3, that city is not just talking about here, in wherever part of the four corners of the earth we're scattered at, we can be blessed there, being blessed in Philly, New York, LA, Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Cleveland, St. Louis, Detroit, Chicago, it's bigger than Pittsburgh, it's bigger than that blessed city. It's talking about New Jerusalem, man. Honestly, that's what it's talking about, the kingdom. That's what it's talking about, man. That's why Fred Hammond has that gospel song, probably one of my top 5 favorite gospel songs or praise songs ever, called "Blessed." But being blessed in the city and the field, that's talking about Revelation 22, in 21, 22. But we talked about that before. But also too, let's get this too. As well, man. Just going into the blessings, how your house is a blessing, how the Most on your house is a blessing, man. Let's grab this too. Now, of course, is this on natural tip talking about us as a nation? Yes, but but we should know that we should look at this as well. Deuteronomy 28 chapter you know Deuteronomy 28 and Deuteronomy 28 and what's going where am I at? Oh my gosh. Deuteronomy 28, where is it at? Yeah, okay, Deuteronomy 28 and 13. Yeah. Deuteronomy 28 and 13. It says, "And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. But if thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command them these days to observe and do them." Yeah, the hearers and not the like Jeremiah and Yahushua said, be in Romans, be not hearers but doers. Honestly, that's why our manner of life, honestly, living it, not just that's how one, it's the most like Yahushua is going to draw people to them, but two, it's just like people have to see the benefit in worshiping the most like Yahushua, serving them through us, man. So yeah, man, it's just it says and the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above, and thou shalt not be beneath. If thou shalt hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, observe and do them. So yeah, exactly, man. So let's get for 1 Corinthians real quick. Yep, because it says the head, right? And then how shall be in our head is the blessing, pretty much. Yeah. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3. It says, but I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is a man, and the head of Christ is Yahweh. Yeah, exactly, man. So that's why even we shared that reel with the Sopranos when the guy, the man, he was in Tony Soprano saw the guy in the in the restaurant with his hat on, and he was upset. He was livid, man. But spiritually, if you're looking at it, man, because that's why, I look everything spiritually, listen to things spiritual ears and watching with spiritual eyes. That's how you how shall looks at things. If I or come on here talking with my hat on, or we just when the words come out, you got your hat on, something like that. Yeah, so. That's just is what it is, man. Or even this naturally, even before the war, even with the word aside, it's certain establishments, certain places, have some respect, take your hat off, man. So me personally, I don't wear hats unless it's bucket hats. I don't really wear hats like that no more. Sometimes it's a little scullies or something like that. I don't really wear hats no more. That's neither here nor there. But yeah. But anyway, it says but I will have that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is a man, and the head of Christ is Yahweh. And every man praying or prophesying and having his head covered discerneth his head. So, yeah. But Yahushua, being our head is is a blessing, man. Exactly, man. So let's get this. Now of course it's talking about us as how us as a nation, or naturally, he's talking about how we be on top, then above all the other nations, like he said in the first verse in Deuteronomy 28. And yes, the Most High in your house that does have a chosen people, all that. But at the end of the day, it's about being the sons and daughters of the Most High in your house, being born of the word. Let me say that too, but because a lot of people, there's a lot of detractors, and I ain't going to that, but this is what they said, not me. It says, and the Lord shall Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 13 says, and the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. And if thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I commanded them this day to observe and do them. So yeah, it says, but I have the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is a man, and the head of Christ is Yahweh. So yeah, so let's get this Isaiah 52 real quick, cause then we're going on. let's go back to the beginning, man, because the Most High Yahushua, then we're gonna go Isaiah, then we're gonna hit Mark, because he tells us that him being our head, like Yahushua being our head, the Most High Yahushua, like being our head, that's a reward, that's the blessing right there. Like, as long as we got like the Most High Yahushua, man, that's all we need, honestly, man. The thing is that he promises, the basis thing, one, most importantly, like the faith in him, his spirit, like his understanding of his word, like just having them, their presence. Then of course the natural things, the cheap things, like and that's it. Honestly, that's where honestly, like sometimes and sometimes I had to check my own will, my own desires, man. Like, listen, you sit back and think like, wait, I'm good though, even though it's not. And that's what we talked about a few months ago with the idealism is a thievery of contentment, man. Like like Beanie Siegel said on the Drink Champs podcast, like entitlement is a thievery of joy, like we said. Idealism is a thievery of contentment, man, or being grateful, or gratefulness, or things that nature, thankfulness. But what is it? I am your reward. Is that Genesis 15 and 12? Damn, where did? Yeah. Oh, Genesis 15:1. Yep, here you go. All praise to Most High Yahushua. Well, no, it's not the 15th today. It's the 14th. But yeah, anyway, it says, after these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in the vision, saying, "Fear not, Abram. I am thy shield, and thy great and exceeding reward." So yeah, he's a reward. He's that blessing. The Most High Yahushua, him being the head, that's our blessing right there. They are the blessing. They are the reward. Like, of course, on this side and next, man, like the kingdom within and that's having their spirit, having like, their qualities, their attributes in us, like on the, like, of course, like living the way that we was living beforehand, it wasn't working. Like, of course, naturally, like on worldly, on natural tip, you, depending on what background it came from, of course, you probably had good morals and principles, but like, but still, it was just like, some of it lined up with the word, some of it didn't, but having things like this, like godly, the good morals, ethic, and principles, codes coming from the Most High Yahushua. Yeah, what more can you ask? Like, where's that in Romans where's that? Oh my gosh, when it said Romans our desires are way than work, but it's neither here nor there. But let's get Genesis chapter 15 verse 1. It says, after these things, the word of the Lord which came to Abram in the vision, saying, "Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy reward, and thy exceeding great reward." Yeah, so David said the same thing about him being the shield, like, and the rock and all that stuff, man. So, and the rock can't be shaking the movement, which the Most High Yahushua don't change. They're stable, like, but consistent. But anyway, that's and that's going back to what we talking about being a man. It had to be, there's a level of consistency that we should have, honestly, like, so yeah. But anyway, and that's most of the time men of the word have that, and that Most High Yahushua are men of their word. They're the originators of being men of your word. That's where we trying to be in that image, trying to get it from. But and then they laid it out to us right here. But yeah, let's grab Mark, Isaiah, then Mark, because yeah, him being the head is a blessing. Isaiah chapter 52 verse 12. For ye shall not go with haste, nor go by flight, for the Lord will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your reward. Yeah, same thing he said to Abraham. And realizing that you're doing the works of Abraham, which is faith, and knowing that the Most High Yahushua is everything that we need. Like, one, being faithful, living according to the promises, like, in obedience to his instruction, man. Like, and love his law, statutes, commandments, his instruction, and loving, like, which is part of it, loving our brothers and sisters, like, in our lives. That's which is part of it, though. But yeah, man. Mark chapter 10 verse 30. It says, "But he shall receive hundredfold now in this time houses and brethren and sisters and mother and lands and persecutions, and in the world and in the world to come eternal life." So yeah, a lot of times too, man, like, you know, shout out to brother Tazai One from True Nation out of California. He said this one time, and I was just talking about this with one of my brothers too in the word, man. So listen, man, a lot of times too, man, like the Most High house y'all. This happened. I'm pretty sure it's happened to y'all, brothers and sisters, man. He blessed y'all. He blessed y'all, like, you know, with more brothers and sisters, family within the word. Once you got in it, man. Honestly, man, like, is, you know, like, you know, the people, the brothers and sisters I met over the years and continue to meet, man, it's great. I mean, probably a few, but still, man, it's like, you know, beautiful. And a lot of times we take that for granted, man. Like, you know, because he brings different people from different backgrounds together, man. Like, you know, honestly. But the one thing in common is that the spirit of the Most High Yahushua is present, man. That's what brings everything together, man. So, yeah, man. So that's is what it is, man. So, yeah, man. So it's a lot of times too. That's just yeah, that's what it is, man. It says, but he shall receive 100-fold now. And this time, yeah, even this time, even now, the kingdom is within. Like, you know, and like, you know, the war, the Most High house has the war now and to come, in the world to come. It says houses and brethren, sisters and mothers and children and lands and persecutions and in the world and to come eternal life. Yeah, man, because even in that, man, I met somebody that, man, she's like an aunt. She's like, I call her auntie, man. She's in the word. Like, you know, Lord willing, we're supposed to see each other tomorrow, Lord willing, man. So see, that's a blessing right there, man. So, and also too, like, y'all brothers and sisters on here, like, you know, like as small as this little YouTube channel is, like the good sister, like, you know, I ain't gonna say her name, but she always show love. The brothers, like, you know, Kwame Call, Aka War, brother Elijah, might not talk much, but brothers, somebody first one, like, you know, brothers in Discord, man, it's just a pleasure, man. So, even other brothers, like, you know, I met personally, but yeah, man. Oh yeah, man, but that's all. But your house shall be in the head, like, you know, and that being the blessing, man. Like, you know, honestly, man. So, yeah, man, it's honestly, but you know, here too, that's crazy because it's kind of offsets now because the first shall be last and the last shall be first, man. Because, like, you know, Yahushua kind of was like he's the head, but he was also the tail because he came last. And that's what he said: first shall be last and the last shall be first. Because, like, you know, like, you know, and that all also goes into we're dealing with the same entities with the Most High Yahushua. Because really, Saul was first, right? The house of Saul was first. Then came David. That David was better. Like, you know, the house of David was better, man. And then the Pharisees and stuff like that, they was first. Then Yahushua hit the scene with the gospel, with the witness and testimony. That was better. That's why it says in Revelation that, you know, the last shall be better than the first, man. So it is what it is, man. So hopefully it's edifying. So peace.